dookie out here. Nino Browns done turned Pookie out here. No cool niggas, it's just goofies out here. I mean niggas is eating pork wearing koofies out here. Through it all, stood tall, doofy out here. 10 toes down, I'm on 2 feet out here. Truthfully out here, I'll be truthfully out here. Getting fly, no bullshit, I'm the 2-3 out here. From Jordans you ain't see, shout out to Carolina. To all baby me's, I see all you heroin miners. Mixtape 3 peats, I fade away at the go-go. With girls that'll spread their legs open for a logo. Hey, check out the swag, yo, I walk like a ball player. To the locker room, I'm back to cockatoon. Toast to all you niggas that was talking cockatoon. We on a different flow, we ain't sending vodka to 'em. The shots that we giving make you send a doctor to 'em. Betty say I when it block a to 'em. Now he in an awkward room trying to lock a goon. Like the shooter had a hood on, might have been Dr. Doom. Sounded like a 5th or a 9, couldn't tell her. All of a sudden thunder, it might have been Hoodie Mellow. You saw if it's put in jello, would come to your hood and hello.
The following contest is for the Monday Night Raw Tag Team Championships. Introducing first in the corner to my right, weighing in tonight at a combined weight of 337 pounds, Brian Kendrick, Paul London. Collectively, they are Team Londrick. And introducing next, they are the champions, weighing in tonight at a combined weight of 464 pounds, Johnny Gargano, Drew McIntyre. Collectively, they are the Raw Tag Team Champions, Evolve. The team of Evolve has run the tag team division here on Monday Night Raw ever since defeating Beer Money way back at SummerSlam. They have taken out all contenders, including Ring Conf, who have now moved over to SmackDown Live and claimed themselves the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, as well as Red Dragon way back at Clash of Champions. But now it is down to business here tonight, as Team Lundrick looks to take the championships away from Team Evolve. Now going for a roaring forearm, but Paul London quickly able to answer back with a Northern Lights suplex, and is going to follow it up with a huge seated senton. Flipping senton attack on the ground to Johnny Gargano. Of course, Paul London and Johnny Wrestling are going to start this match for their respective teams. And Paul London and Brian Kendrick earning a tremendous victory the other week on Monday Night Raw, over the Usos in a ladder match that earned themselves this opportunity here tonight. Johnny Gargano now connecting with an enziguri and taunting to the fans, as Team Evolve has really found the support of the crowd over the past few weeks. And now a spinning heel kick from Paul London is going to level Johnny Gargano back and into the corner, as Paul London looks to ascend to the top rope, looking to go down the rabbit hole, but no, he's calling Johnny Gargano back up to his feet here. He's going to dive down with a seated, going for that huge Hurricane Rana, but Johnny Gargano able to muscle him up and powerbomb him flat in the middle of the ring. Huge strength from Johnny Wrestling to catch Paul London out of the air. And now rebounding off of the ropes with a step-up enziguri to follow it up. Johnny Gargano sending Paul London now back into friendly territory where he can make and tag into Drew McIntyre, but Paul London scouting that with a kick in the corner, able to fight his way out. Johnny Gargano now looking for the waistlock advantage from behind. Now able to muscle him up and take him down with a wrestling takedown from Paul London. Paul London and Johnny Gargano, two men that have a lot of similarities on paper, but Paul London's unorthodox mindset and attitude inside the ring is really what sets him apart from a lot of the other contenders here on Monday Night Raw, as he connects with that flipping senton yet again with a fist drop. Now it's Brian Kendrick who's looking to go high fly as he goes for that springboard moonsault off the second rope, a lion salt connecting with Johnny Gargano, who now ducks out of the way of that kick and is going to look to turn around into a Frankensteiner on Brian Kendrick, hooking the legs away from the ropes but only getting a 1 count. As Brian Kendrick is the fresh man in this contest, just being tagged in by Paul London for that spin cycle tag team maneuver. Ducking underneath is Johnny Gargano, who sends Brian Kendrick over his head with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Impressive show of skill from Johnny Gargano, who now once again is going to Irish whip Brian Kendrick off of the ropes and now trap him with that tilt-a-whirl DDT, or neckbreaker I should say. Turning him around for that swing neckbreaker, and is now going to send him into the corner where he can make the tag in to Drew McIntyre, which he does so, sending him into the buckle yet again. Johnny Gargano hopping over, and they're going to connect with a combination Cazadora along with that jumping knee. Drew McIntyre going to follow it up with a Northern Lights suplex and hooking the leg of Brian Kendrick, but yet another kick out from Brian Kendrick, able to get his shoulder up yet again and trip out the leg of Drew McIntyre. If Paul London and Brian Kendrick want to stand a chance in this contest, they are going to have to ground Johnny Gargano, whilst also trying to hinder taking him down with a huge electric chair drop, while also trying to battle back against the size disadvantage that they have against Drew McIntyre. That's what makes the Team of Evolve so dangerous, is their two mixed styles. Drew McIntyre, of course, the muscle of the group. Johnny Gargano, though, no slouch in his own right. Drew McIntyre shoving off of that drop kick and then ducking out from that lariat, now connecting with a roaring forearm to the face of Brian Kendrick. Incredible showcase from Drew McIntyre of what the Team of Evolve are capable of. Now an air raid crash, dropping Brian Kendrick right in the middle of the ring and potentially looking to put away this contest quick here, as Drew McIntyre, taking a seat over in the corner, is just going to bide some time as he knocks Paul London once again off of the apron for the second time. Leaving Brian Kendrick no man to tag in. Now once again dropping the knee on Brian Kendrick, now hoisting him up for a suplex and just tossing him into the corner, in which Paul London is currently absent as he is on the outside recovering. Drew McIntyre just going to taunt over in the corner of Evolve and make the tag in to Johnny Gargano now. We'll see if Brian Kendrick now making the tag into Paul London. We'll see the two men that started this contest return to the center of the ring, rolling through with a huge small package, turning it into that roundhouse kick. And now Johnny Gargano going to lift himself up for the Hurricane Rana, taking down Paul London, and now following it up with the move that Brian Kendrick utilized on Johnny Gargano earlier on in this contest, that springboard moonsault off of the second rope. But it's not going to keep Paul London down for long, as he's able to find a way to get the shoulder up. And now Johnny Gargano rebounding off of the ropes, diving double foot stomp from a standing position to follow up that neck snap. Paul London now finding a way to fight up back to his feet, tilting around for that tilt-a-whirl DDT, but no, Johnny Gargano able to counter with an arm drag. Let's see what Gargano can muster here. Johnny Wrestling looking to send Paul London across the ring and into the buckle yet again, taunting in the face of Paul London. Let's see what Gargano's going for here. He's going to lock him in on the tarantula. He has this locked in, but he only has a 5 count as the referee, forcing him to break the hold, is now going to connect with a slingshot spear, but no, Paul London able to sidestep that maneuver. Now connect with a forearm smash to the face of Johnny Wrestling. who's now up on the shoulders of Paul London, a huge Death Valley driver, drilling him into the canvas. Paul London now taking a minute to catch his breath and just stare down Johnny Gargano, perhaps trying to figure out what he should do next. Also looking to prevent that tag being made from Johnny Gargano into Drew McIntyre. Paul London doing so, lifting him back up to his feet here, but Johnny Gargano going to get the reversal off with a knee to the gut. Now an arm drag reversal from Paul London as these two are going back and forth. Paul London muscling him up for a power bomb, a huge sit out power bomb. And Johnny Gargano looking to make that tag into Drew McIntyre. Paul London luckily able to stop it just in time for Team Lundrick. Now diving into the corner with a huge leaping forearm smash is Paul London. Now has Johnny Gargano across the ring in hostile territory where he's just going to continuously stomp on the chest of Johnny Gargano. He looks to find a way back to his feet here, but Paul London looking to stop him from doing so. Brian Kendrick has stepped down now off of the apron, letting these two duke it out on the inside of the ring. Johnny Gargano able to find a reversal for that and duck behind for that inverted DDT. Now a European uppercut from Paul London as he looks to follow it up with a Northern Light suplex. That's how this contest started off, with Johnny Gargano finding a way to get his feet underneath the bottom rope. And now a lariat from behind from Drew McIntyre, who is now firing back on Team Lundrick, who was just taken out both members of Lundrick. A fell swoop with a series of strikes. Now Brian Kendrick getting back up to his feet, catching the leg of Drew McIntyre. And now another huge lariat from behind from Drew McIntyre, catching Team Lundrick off guard multiple times in this contest with that lariat from behind. Paul London bringing Drew McIntyre back on the inside for a neck breaker, which sends Drew McIntyre to the outside. Now it's just these two on the inside of the ring, and a huge drop kick from Johnny Gargano after Paul London was able to reverse that back suplex. Let's see here, another Saito suplex from Johnny Gargano, dropping Paul London right on his neck, the back of his head. With both men having their tag team partners deposited on the outside, Johnny Gargano is going to look to take it to Paul London now with a lawn dart over in the corner, drilling Paul London's face into that middle turnbuckle pad, and now looking for the tag into Drew McIntyre, but McIntyre is still recovering on the outside after that neck breaker that Paul London administered earlier on. Johnny Gargano now on the outside trying to talk his partner back into it. Getting back to the inside now is Gargano, who has his sights set on Paul London, recovering across the ring. Let's see what Johnny Gargano has in mind here as he looks to take Paul London now for a snap suplex, drilling him over. Electing not to float over for the cover quite yet, as Johnny Gargano now calling Paul London back up to his feet here. Paul London is going to try to go away, trying to crawl away from Johnny Gargano, but Johnny had it scouted with a springboard frog splash to the inside. As Paul London was looking to crawl to his corner and make the tag into Brian Kendrick. Now that diving drop kick has not done wonders for Paul London in this contest. As you remember earlier on, Drew McIntyre shrugging that off. And Johnny Gargano able to bring him back for a huge clothesline, now sending Paul London into the corner. Catches him with a kick while he was going for that tag team maneuver with Drew McIntyre. Of course, both men recovering. Now an inverted poised Rana on Paul London, spiking his head into the mat. Johnny Gargano drilling Paul London head first onto the canvas, and now calling for Paul London to get back up to his feet, but Paul London crawling away and creating some separation between himself and Johnny Gargano. Drew McIntyre receiving the tag. Brian Kendrick now receiving the tag. And that shot staggered Drew McIntyre but didn't knock him down. But that shot certainly knocked down the Brian Kendrick. Of course, going back to the size and power advantage of Drew McIntyre, it's going to be really hard for Team Lundrick to combat something like that. If they're outweighed by over 100 pounds, Brian Kendrick only being about 160 pounds himself. Looking for that calf kick on Drew McIntyre. It's got him to a knee, but he misses on that face wash. Drew McIntyre now going to send Brian Kendrick into the buckle, turning him around. Now sending him pillar to post across the ring, catching him with the up kick. As Brian Kendrick looked to duck over, Johnny Gargano still recovering on the outside. Drew McIntyre will take the driver's seat for the time being. Now he's looking to call Brian Kendrick back up to his feet here. Potentially scouting him for a Claymore kick of sorts. No, ducking underneath for that clothesline. Hitting him with the Enzu Lariat on his way back. And how many times has Drew McIntyre gone for that Lariat from behind in this contest? It has done wonders for himself and his team. McIntyre now hoisting Brian Kendrick up to the top rope. What does he have in mind here as he is going high risk with Brian Kendrick up top, stalling him up for a huge suplex, deadlifting up Brian Kendrick. And here's the power advantage yet again as Drew McIntyre just suspending him in the air and crashing him down, letting all the blood rush to the head of Brian Kendrick, who now surprisingly quickly recovering, but receives a snap headbutt for his troubles. Now Drew McIntyre over in the corner begging for Brian Kendrick to get back up to his feet here, as he is going to stop in the corner looking for that Claymore kick, and he is going to connect with a huge sick kick. The Claymore across the face of Brian Kendrick, now sending Paul London crashing off of the apron. Let's see if he can make the tag into Johnny Gargano, potentially looking to put away Brian Kendrick here following that Claymore. Johnny Gargano now lifting Brian Kendrick back up, potentially have a maneuver in mind. Johnny sending him into the corner, turning him around. Let's see what Gargano can administer here as he lifts Brian Kendrick up to the top rope. The last time Brian Kendrick was up in that avalanche position, he received that stalling suplex from Drew McIntyre. He wants to avoid that again. Now a diving cannonball that levels Johnny Gargano, potentially connecting with those feet on the way down. That under rotation, bringing him back, and now a huge clothesline takedown from Johnny Gargano. I think that Brian Kendrick has been lacerated off of that sick kick. Paul London now finally getting back up and onto the apron, but he's going to receive a strike from Johnny Gargano. Now a back suplex, drilling him onto the apron, spine first. And Brian Kendrick now in a dangerous position where Johnny Gargano is going to look to lift him up, going for exactly what he gave Paul London earlier on. The lawn dart over in the corner, drilling Brian Kendrick face first into that middle turnbuckle. Now Johnny Gargano going to send Kendrick into the corner yet again and look to connect with their tag team finisher here, as Johnny Gargano has him in position for the DDT and turning it now into a wheelbarrow German suplex. The Future Shock connecting with the German, following it up. And Paul London now back up on the apron, not for long, as Drew McIntyre looking to hook the leg of Brian Kendrick. 1, 2, and 3. No! Brian Kendrick! How did Brian Kendrick get his shoulder up after receiving all the damage for the past few minutes in this contest, including a Claymore kick and the tag team maneuver of the Future Shock German suplex combination from Evolve? But Brian Kendrick now fighting back against Drew McIntyre, doing whatever he can, springing off the ropes, diving in for that leaping forearm smash, but it wasn't to be, as Brian Kendrick now going to be hoisted up for a powerbomb, fighting out of it. Kendrick so resilient now, a backhand chop to Drew McIntyre, hooking the arms, and a tiger suplex to Drew McIntyre. How is Brian Kendrick able to hoist him up for that maneuver, sending him back and crashing on the back of his neck, with Drew McIntyre already back in this contest. Now calling for it over in the corner. He's going to look to go after Brian Kendrick, but no, he receives the kick yet again. Back elbows from Drew McIntyre, able to fight out of it, turning him around now. And Drew McIntyre with the inverted suplex, turning Brian Kendrick inside out. Kendrick in real trouble here, as he has received a lot of the damage in the later parts of this contest. Now an air raid crash from Drew McIntyre yet again. Paul London now. Paul London also receiving damage of his own, but he's not the legal man, as every time that he gets back up on the apron, he is sent out by the team of Evolve. Smart strategy, might I add, from Drew McIntyre and Johnny Wrestling. Another reversal from Brian Kendrick as he looks to get himself back in this contest, now targeting Johnny Gargano. Perhaps the distraction on the apron from Gargano, turning it with an inverted suplex yet again to turn Brian Kendrick inside out. Now clubbing strikes to the face of Brian Kendrick and a headbutt sending him crashing back. Drew McIntyre now going to send Brian Kendrick to the outside, right by Paul London, diving over with a tope con hello to the outside, taking out Brian Kendrick, and Paul London as well seated in that position, taking some of the damage off of Drew McIntyre, as Drew McIntyre dove to the outside on top of Brian Kendrick, now has him hoisted up and going to send him into the ring post. Spine first, ribs first I should say. The abdomen of Brian Kendrick has got to be in a lot of pain. Everything of Brian Kendrick has to be in pain after all the damage that he has received from Evolve. Now potentially playing possum as he dives off for that step up enziguri. He's able to get himself back into this contest. A kick to the back, the hands of Brian Kendrick. Paul London on the outside, proud of his teammates' work. Now going to bring him back for a huge shoulder tackle, though. Paul London finally able to muster a reversal on the outside, as every time that he has gotten back up on that apron, Drew McIntyre and Johnny Gargano have had an answer for him. Drew McIntyre now fighting his way against Brian Kendrick, looking to send him into the buckle. No, bringing him back for a tilt-a-whirl. Backbreaker. Johnny Gargano recovering on the outside. A snap headbutt from Drew McIntyre, leveling Brian Kendrick. And after everything that they have done in this contest, Brian Kendrick could be down for the count now. Paul London again able to reverse Drew McIntyre over on the apron, fighting his way back into this contest. A Cazadora now, able to reverse it once again. Brian Kendrick now crawling up back to his feet, is looking to get himself back into this contest. Drew McIntyre right in the face of Brian Kendrick, muscles showing in his face, and now ducking underneath for that lariat yet again, hooking the leg now of Brian Kendrick. If Paul London can't break this up, no, Brian Kendrick somehow getting the shoulder up yet again in this contest. Johnny Gargano now taking it to Paul London with that diced bread over on the side, now turning him inside out. Brian Kendrick, however, reversing Drew McIntyre, and is finally able to get himself back into this contest somehow, sending him to the outside. Brian Kendrick creating some distance between himself and Drew McIntyre, as he's going to dive through underneath the bottom turnbuckle with that huge drop kick across the corner post. That kind of offense could be big for Brian Kendrick if he wants to get himself back into this contest, but he doesn't have a partner to tag at the moment, wiping the blood out of his eyes. Potentially, that could hinder your sight. Johnny Gargano could only watch on now, as Brian Kendrick finally able to mount some offense in this matchup with a drilling Drew McIntyre across the face. Huge cross faces from the forearm of Brian Kendrick. And Brian Kendrick's aggression is not something to be messed with, as he is very well known for that factor. Drew McIntyre looking to get the waistlock advantage from behind. It is countered now by the Brian Kendrick, who is countered in his own right. A series of reversals from both men, ducking out of the way and behind. And now a German suplex over in the corner sends Drew McIntyre back into the middle of the ring. Paul London now back up on the apron. Brian Kendrick has got to want to be looking for a tag in to his partner here real soon. Now the shoulder into the gut. Now diving over for a huge sunset flip. Can Brian Kendrick get the pinfall here on Drew McIntyre? No, only a 1 count. Johnny Gargano wouldn't have been able to make the save, as Drew McIntyre gets sent crashing back into his turnbuckle. However, he is able to get a reversal off on Brian Kendrick, who's in serious danger in this contest. Now gets sent into the corner once again, and is going to receive a tag team maneuver at the hands of Evolve. Now connecting with a huge combination, the DIY tag team maneuver. Johnny Gargano connecting with a super kick. Drew McIntyre connecting with a knee to the temple. And Brian Kendrick has got to be feeling the effects of everything that they have thrown at him. Now tripping out the leg, and he's going to look for the Gargano escape on Brian Kendrick. Paul London dished to the outside. Will he be able to get the submission victory here on Brian Kendrick? Brian Kendrick, though, so resilient, trying to fight back against this. No way, he's tapping out. Johnny Gargano letting loose on the hold, releasing that submission on Brian Kendrick now, potentially in favor of going for the super kick in the corner. Johnny Gargano scouting him for the super kick, and a huge super kick. No, Brian Kendrick able to reverse it. A huge drop kick, though, from Johnny Gargano. What will it take for one of these teams to finally get the victory in this contest? A series of forearm smashes now from Johnny Gargano, ducking underneath with a huge roundhouse kick, and Johnny Gargano is fired up as Brian Kendrick is sent reeling into the turnbuckle. He sends Johnny Gargano face first now into that buckle pad. Johnny Gargano with a reversal on Brian Kendrick. Now connecting with the Northern Lights suplex, the first maneuver that was used in this contest. Originally at the hands of Paul London, now Johnny Gargano sending him, bringing him back for that huge clothesline. And Gargano now going to scout Brian Kendrick from the outside, out on the apron. Paul London could only watch on as Johnny Gargano going to slingshot himself in for a tornado DDT. Planning Brian Kendrick, and now knocking Paul London off of the apron once again, as Johnny Gargano in perfect position to connect with the corner super kick to Brian Kendrick. No, Kendrick able to duck out of the way of that once again, but receives a step up insecurity for his troubles. And now Drew McIntyre going to receive the tag from Johnny Gargano over in the corner. Drew McIntyre now going to lift him back up to his feet here. A snap headbutt yet again from Drew McIntyre, who now looks to scout Brian Kendrick from over in the corner. He couldn't connect with the super kick, but Drew McIntyre going for the sick kick yet again. It is sidestepped by Brian Kendrick. How is Kendrick able to reverse it? But no, he can't get out of the way of that big boot. Paul London back up on the apron is going to receive a suplex to the inside at the hands of McIntyre. And now Brian Kendrick in a dangerous position here as he's hoisted up for a power bomb, drilling him into the canvas. Drew McIntyre and Johnny Gargano absolutely isolating Brian Kendrick in this contest, not allowing Paul London to even receive a tag in the last, let's say, 8 minutes or so. Now a sliced bread number 2 from Brian Kendrick, looking for the pin here on Drew McIntyre, but no tag team partner for Brian Kendrick is going to allow Johnny Gargano to break up that pinfall attempt and allow Evolve a chance to survive in this contest. If Paul London was in, perhaps he could have distracted Johnny Gargano for the time being after he connected with that sliced bread. The standing sure no. Now Johnny Gargano recovering on the outside. Drew McIntyre, I should say, sending Brian Kendrick across the ring and into the buckle, is now going to connect with a huge overhead belly to belly, sending Brian Kendrick across the ring. McIntyre now quickly going to follow that up by lifting him up in position for yet another air raid crash, drilling Brian Kendrick and putting him right in his place in the middle of the ring. Paul London with the reversal as Drew McIntyre once again looking to knock him off of the apron. Has been the MO of Evolve this entire contest, to isolate Brian Kendrick and to prevent Paul London from interfering, as he successfully does so, knocking him off of the apron yet again. Drew McIntyre picking up Brian Kendrick in position. He's locked the arms, gonna go for the future shock DDT, crumbling Brian Kendrick in the process. And Kendrick laid out on the mat. Drew McIntyre now gonna back it up, and this will do it, folks. If he could connect here with the sick kick, this will be it for Brian Kendrick. A huge Claymore kick across the face from Drew McIntyre. The ref down for the count. 1, 2, and 3. Evolve finally picking up a victory, isolating Brian Kendrick the entirety of this contest, and it played dividends for them as they were able to successfully come up in another title defense against another big team here on Monday Night Raw. Recently moving up, Team Lundrick from NXT, unsuccessful in their opportunity here tonight. Johnny Gargano and Drew McIntyre have to be proud of their work here tonight, because they had a game plan to isolate one member of the opposing team, and it worked to absolute perfection for them. Paul London receiving next to no in-ring time in this contest. Of course, he started the matchup, but for the last, I'd say, 10 or almost 15 minutes of that contest, it was strictly Brian Kendrick receiving the damage on behalf of Lundrick. Team Evolve once again retaining their tag team championships. It appears that they will head into Survivor Series to face Ring Comp, which will be an excellent contest. We will see what goes down with that. But for now, we're going to move into our main event, part 2 of Halloween Havoc. And it is finally time for the rematch that everyone was waiting for. Jerry Lynn right out the gate going for a huge clothesline on Rob Van Dam. I was not expecting that. I was expecting a show of sportsmanship between these two former rivals in recent weeks becoming friends. As we saw a few weeks ago, we thought we were going to receive this matchup on Monday Night Raw before the interference of the Wyatt family, of course being Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. Now looking for that spinning heel kick, but no, it is countered by Jerry Lynn, who flips over for that reverse back suplex, but is countered by Rob Van Dam into a bulldog, who now connects with a basement dropkick. And these two starting off hot in this contest, of course, old rivals in ECW, having some of the best matchups that I have ever seen in my life. Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam here tonight, facing each other in Extreme Rules contest, and Rob Van Dam connecting with that springboard crossbody out of the corner. Both of the men feeling the effects of that move. They're both trying to get back up to their feet here. Jerry Lynn slowly doing so. Rob Van Dam looking to take advantage. No, it's Jerry Lynn who hoists him up, looking for that power bomb, but no, it's countered by Rob Van Dam with a series of strikes to the face. He's able to find a way out of that. Now a huge spinning heel kick from Rob Van Dam. Now looking to lift him up, seated position, kicking him right back down. Of course, this show of disrespect at the opening of this contest, as Jerry Lynn right out of the gate running at Rob Van Dam and connecting with that huge lariat, setting the tone for this matchup. Now a tilt-a-whirl head scissors from Jerry Lynn. He looks like he hasn't even lost a step, as Jerry Lynn now rebounding off the ropes, and a huge leg drop over across as Rob Van Dam was draped on the ropes. And that's Sabu. That's the suicidal, genocidal, death-defying ECW legend Sabu. And Jerry Lynn shocked at the prospect of Sabu getting involved in this contest, but now he receives a bat to the face. What is Sabu doing out here? Striking down Jerry Lynn with the bat on the outside of the ring now. A series of strikes. Rob Van Dam potentially organizing this assault from Sabu. No, Jerry Lynn now in control of the bat. Sabu, however, with the reversal, the leg drop facebuster. What is Rob Van Dam doing? No, he gets control of Sabu on the outside, knee to the face. What is Rob Van Dam doing now? Rob Van Dam taking it to his former friend. I don't even know what's going on. I thought all these men had a mutual respect for one another. But it appears now that Jerry Lynn with a snap German suplex to Sabu is going to take him down, but a lariat from Rob Van Dam is going to take out Jerry Lynn. Did this match just become a triple threat? I have no idea. Now Sabu appears to be heading to the back. I'm not sure what his involvement is in this situation, as it looked like he was coming out to help his friend Rob Van Dam. But instead, Rob Van Dam not allowing it, potentially wanting this matchup to go down clean. Now hoisting him up in a power slam position is going to drop Jerry Lynn face first on the apron and across that electric billboard. An elbow drop into the back of Jerry Lynn now. Rob Van Dam lifting him back up to his feet here. He's going to send Jerry Lynn now around the ringside area. Rob Van Dam looking to go for a weapon underneath the ring, potentially looking to utilize. Now he has a steel chair in his possession. Rob Van Dam, we all know what he could do with that steel chair. See his position now up on the apron, awaiting Jerry Lynn to get back up to his feet here, who is slowly recovering over at our ringside area, diving down with a huge clothesline from Rob Van Dam. The velocity that he got off of that dive off the apron. Rob Van Dam now with a face lock advantage. I should say the front chancery now, ducking underneath, going for that huge flipping back suplex. Now lifting him back up to his feet, but Jerry Lynn with a reversal. Jerry Lynn now being countered on the outside from Rob Van Dam, as these two so evenly matched, going back and forth. Bitter rivals, great friends, whichever it may be. These two have a mutual respect for one another and want to show it here tonight. Brainbuster on the outside from Rob Van Dam as he hoisted Jerry Lynn up and held him in position for multiple seconds before he sent him drilling into the floor with that huge brainbuster. Rob Van Dam now with the chair in his possession. No, going to look to hoist Jerry Lynn up and onto the barricade here. Our ringside area now, a series of strikes to keep Jerry Lynn in position as Rob Van Dam now up on the apron. He's going to look for it. Rob Van Dam is going to look for a spinning leg drop across the barricade, connecting with a huge rotating. Look at that leg drop. Beautiful agility from Rob Van Dam, sending Jerry Lynn down into the ground, potentially landing on that chair on the outside that Rob Van Dam positioned out there. The referee can only watch on as this match is Extreme Rules. No countouts, no disqualifications. The only thing that will end this match is a pinfall or a submission. Rob Van Dam now rebounding off of the ropes. Go look to dive to the outside, but no. Coming up short. Nope. Once again. Not quite. Alright, enough of this. Now diving to the outside with a huge pescado. Corkscrew plancha to the outside. Now a reversal from Jerry Lynn with that jawbreaker. Going for the tilt-a-whirl yet again, sending Rob Van Dam with a tilt-a-whirl head scissors, sending him across the ringside area. Now a neck breaker from Jerry Lynn. Lifting Rob Van Dam back up. He's now going to send him back to the inside of the ring where he could get stuff done. No weapons on the outside of the ring quite yet. But Jerry Lynn has him in position for an air raid crash, sending Rob Van Dam crashing onto that steel chair that he introduced into this contest. And Jerry Lynn going to follow it up now, looking for that cradle pile driver perhaps, but no, Rob Van Dam had an answer to it. Picking up that chair that just got sent to the outside, now looking for that full Nelson reverse STO perhaps from behind. It's reversed by Rob Van Dam, who lifts him up for a huge slam. He's now going to back up for a rolling thunder, a huge senton to Jerry Lynn. And Rob Van Dam is fired up in this contest. Rob Van Dam showing that he is still near 100% in physical condition. Rob Van Dam now looking to introduce another weapon into this contest, receiving a table from underneath the ring. He's going to look to put it in position now, going on the outside. Rob Van Dam has that table and he's going to look to set it up here at ringside. Jerry Lynn knocking him down before he could do so. Let's see what Jerry Lynn's got in mind here. Looking to lift up Rob Van Dam, but it's the reversal from Rob Van Dam into that inverted DDT. That's going to get him out of this. Rob Van Dam now looking to introduce yet another weapon from underneath the ring. He has a kendo stick in hand. And Rob Van Dam returning to the inside of the ring is going to just put that kendo stick over in the corner for safekeeping. Potentially going to go back to that at a later point in this match. Now bringing the chair in. We get the chair involved too, positioning it over in the corner. Jerry Lynn now able to answer back off the distraction from Rob Van Dam. Huge gourd buster from Jerry Lynn. I wasn't sure what he was going for there with the suplex, but he's flattened Rob Van Dam. On top of that kendo stick now, a series of clotheslines from Jerry Lynn, ducking underneath, and a huge super kick, decapitating Rob Van Dam in the process. Jerry Lynn now going to look to send Rob Van Dam face first into the chair that he positioned in the corner. These weapons not really working out for Rob Van Dam. Each weapon that he has introduced to this contest has worked to his deficit. And Jerry Lynn now on the ground, looking to take it to Van Dam. Got him lifted up once again for an air raid crash yet again in this contest, drilling Rob Van Dam down. And Jerry Lynn now over in the corner, going to take a quick breather to taunt to the fans and catch his breath. Now scouting Rob Van Dam in position, going to look for potentially that cradle pile driver, but it is countered, scouted once again by Van Dam. He's now sent into the corner by Jerry Lynn. Face first. Now going to look for a huge springboard bulldog out of the corner, but Rob Van Dam quick to roll out of the way and avoid taking any more damage here from Lynn. But Lynn able to hoist him up in the gory bomb position, dropping him face first on the steel steps. Rob Van Dam. I just can't believe what I just saw. Rob Van Dam being planted face first off that gory bomb on the steel steps. Now being sent once again crashing into the steel steps at the hands of Jerry Lynn. The viciousness that Lynn has exhibited on Rob Van Dam. Now a TKO fireman's carry cutter. Everything that Jerry Lynn is doing right now on the outside of the ring surely would have put away Rob Van Dam if he had went for the pinfall. Now a basement dropkick. There are no pinfalls on the outside of the ring. Rob Van Dam finally able to muster a reversal, sending Jerry Lynn into those steel steps. Now picking up the table that he positioned on the outside, introducing into this matchup. But Rob Van Dam, this has not worked in his benefit so far. I wouldn't advise introducing another weapon just yet, because every time that he has gone for it, Jerry Lynn has made it work against him. Jerry Lynn now hoisting him up for the cradle. Pile driver on the outside to Rob Van Dam, drilling him head first. Jerry Lynn absolutely commanding this matchup. Now a huge elbow drop on the ground. Rob Van Dam following it up with a standing leg drop. Jerry Lynn in a good position here as he is really taking it to Rob Van Dam now in this contest. Rob Van Dam fighting back now. And look to hoist him up in the power slam position, bringing him over by the barricade and slamming him down with authority. Rob Van Dam now once again looking to introduce yet another weapon from underneath the ring, and he's pulling out a ladder. He just received a ladder from underneath the ring. Again, I don't know if this is wise from Rob Van Dam, because every weapon that he has introduced into this contest has worked against him so far. Van Dam, though, looking to set up that ladder over by the table in our ringside area, not finding a good position for it. Seriously, what is this about 2K? Can't you just fix your game? I just want to put the ladder down. There we go, finally. Smashing Jerry Lynn in the face with that ladder, allowing himself a few more moments to set up whatever he was looking for. Rob Van Dam now gonna bring Jerry Lynn along with him, sending him face first into the ladder yet again. Now he has the front chancery advantage, gonna drag Jerry Lynn now over into the table. And Jerry Lynn with the reversal, able to evade, going through that table, whatever Rob Van Dam had in mind, sending him face first now into the hardware. Van Dam now returning to the inside of the ring with Jerry Lynn. He's gonna lift him back up. Now knee to the gut. He's gonna follow it up with a huge Hurricane Rana. Whatever Van Dam is going for here, he has those objects positioned on the outside in position for himself to put Jerry Lynn through the table, potentially dive off of the ladder. Hazardous environment at our ringside area right now, with steel steps over there as well. Rob Van Dam looking to return the action over to said hazardous area, scouting Jerry Lynn, but Jerry Lynn slow to get back up to his feet here, is really feeling the effects of what Rob Van Dam has done to him in this contest. Rob Van Dam has got to be feeling it too after that gory bomb face first into the steel steps. I've never seen anything like that. Now it's Jerry Lynn with the reversal. Series of strikes to the gut of Rob Van Dam. Potentially Jerry Lynn is going to look to put him through the table, but no, sending him into the steel steps yet again. Multiple stomps on the ground now from Jerry Lynn. And lifting Rob Van Dam up. He's going to lift him up for a huge brainbuster, drilling him into the, I don't know what to call that on the outside, the padded matting, I should say. I suppose. I don't know. Send Jerry Lynn being tripped off of that baseball bat, off the Irish whip. Rob Van Dam looked to create some distance between himself and Lynn. Rob Van Dam now returning to the inside of the ring. But he's just going to taunt over in the corner, awaiting Jerry Lynn to get back up to his feet here. He does so, returning to the inside of the ring is Jerry Lynn, now receiving that spinning back kick, but it is unfazed Jerry Lynn. The reversal now, as he's able to step aside from that calf kick, a step up insecurity to follow it up from Jerry Lynn. Rob Van Dam now in position, fireman's carry, turning it into yet another cutter, turning him around. Jerry Lynn hooking the leg of Rob Van Dam now on the inside of the ring. This is one of the first pinfalls that we have seen in this contest, and it doesn't get the trick done as Rob Van Dam able to kick out of whatever Jerry Lynn has thrown at him so far, including a cradle lift pile driver, which he might be looking for again here. Gonna look for the cradle lift, but no, it's reversed by Rob Van Dam, who's able to flip himself up into position and receive a series of shots, a soul kick now to follow it up, and a Hurricane Rana to finish it off from Rob Van Dam. Van Dam now gonna lift up Jerry Lynn, potentially looking to bring him over by that table. But he has position on the outside. Now he's gonna bring him over into the ropes. Rob Van Dam now gonna send Jerry Lynn to the outside, create a few minutes of separation. Now Rob Van Dam gonna go for a tope con hello to the outside, flipping over the ropes with a huge tope. Rob Van Dam showing us exactly what he's capable of. Incredible vertical leap and able to tuck himself, rolling over the top rope with a huge barrel roll. Now it's Van Dam bringing Jerry Lynn back over to that hazardous territory, as I said, with the table and the ladder in play. Jerry Lynn now with the reversal is going to go for a huge running bulldog. I'm surprised that didn't put Rob Van Dam through the table in the process. Van Dam now being sent into the steel steps yet again. Those steel steps have really not worked for Van Dam in this contest, as Jerry Lynn resorting to sending him into those steps on the outside. Not sure what's going on here. Jerry Lynn on the treadmill. Rob Van Dam, who's looking to crawl out of the way, but no. Jerry Lynn sending him now, tripping over that baseball bat for a second time, and now a huge elbow drop on the outside. Stomping down on Van Dam, spinning heel kick now from Van Dam. Now Jerry Lynn being lifted up. Van Dam going to send him across and into the steel steps yet again. These two are just back and forth in the same location. I'm not too sure who has the advantage at this point in this contest. Van Dam now sending those steel steps back to the inside. Potentially a good idea, as those really have not worked in his favor in this contest, as I said earlier. Getting the front chancery advantage now from Jerry Lynn. He's going to look to bring him over by the table area. Positioning him on top of that table. Van Dam has him in position. Now climbing up the ladder, Rob Van Dam going to go high risk all the way from the ladder. Is going to look to dive down on Jerry Lynn. And, oh, that's right. WWE 2K, your games are fucking shit. And I can't dive off the top of a ladder for some reason on the outside of the ring. Fix your fucking game. I want to do a diving 5-star frog splash. This shit is ridiculous. Jerry Lynn able to recover now. Get himself off of that table. The tiger suplex on the outside. Rob Van Dam, proud of his work. And now get the face lock advantage once again on Jerry Lynn and drag him over by that table. Like that spot would have been so cool. Why can't I do that? I don't understand. Van Dam now with a tiger suplex yet again on the outside, dropping Jerry Lynn on his shoulders and lifting him back up. And he's going to drag Jerry Lynn over by that table yet again in a kidney position. Jerry Lynn on top of the table. No, it's a reversal, of course. Step up insecurity that sends Rob Van Dam onto the steel steps. Jerry Lynn now. I don't like all the cluster going on at the ringside area. Jerry Lynn sending Rob Van Dam into the ladder. It's reversed by Rob Van Dam, who was able to find a way to avoid that. Bring him over by the table. So persistent is Van Dam in his endeavor to put Jerry Lynn through the table. Hopefully this works this time. Oh my goodness. If it doesn't, I would cry. Rob Van Dam going high risk up from the top rope. Diving down with a huge... What the fuck was that? See, like, I can't even do a 5-star frog splash through a table on the outside. Your games are no fun and they're shit. So, sorry for ranting, but that shit is really stupid. Now lifting Jerry Lynn up. Van Dam sending Jerry Lynn back to the inside where he connects with those steel steps. Van Dam now going to send the ladder to the inside as well. Hopping over. Sending him into the turnbuckle pad. Rob Van Dam is able to counter with a kick. And how many times will he go for the tiger suplex in this contest? Dropping Jerry Lynn once again on his shoulders. Now positioning that ladder in the middle of the ring. Let's see Rob Van Dam. What is he going to go for here? Taunting in the face of Jerry Lynn once again. And yeah, whatever. Oh, he's saying he wants to meet him at the top of the ladder. I see now. Jerry Lynn, however, having nothing of that. Trying to push over the ladder because the AI also in this game is fucking stupid. And can't do it again. At this point, I was really like frustrated with this game. And 2k18 will be no better. I can already tell you that. So now Rob Van Dam has him in position. Gonna go planting him with a huge butterfly pile driver. Drilling Jerry Lynn onto the ground. Now Rob Van Dam with Jerry Lynn on the ground. Gotta look to go high risk up from the top rope. Referee, can you fucking move? Diving down for a 5-star frog splash to Jerry Lynn. Huge 5-star frog splash. Landing with impact. Now if Rob Van Dam could hook the leg of Jerry Lynn here, this would be it for this contest. But no, electing not to. Instead, going to go to the outside and introduce yet another table into this contest because this worked so well last time. Rob Van Dam now trying to introduce the table, but of course, yet again 2K. Why can I not send the table to the inside of the ring from certain angles? I don't understand. Rob Van Dam now on the outside, going to receive a jawbreaker from Jerry Lynn. That sends him crashing to the outside. Now Jerry Lynn ducking to the outside where Rob Van Dam is. And stomp away at Van Dam as he looks to recover. Calf kick from Van Dam. Now It's Rob Van Dam who lifts him back up. He's going to send Jerry Lynn back to the inside of the ring, where he can do most of his offense. Of course, Rob Van Dam more successful in the later stages of this match. He was getting demolished by Jerry Lynn for quite some time in this contest, ever since that steel steps incident earlier on. Rob Van Dam able to work his way back into this contest. Jerry Lynn now looking to go high risk. I'm not sure what he was going for there, but he receives the high knee from Rob Van Dam. And Van Dam now going to go high risk with Jerry Lynn. Up to the top rope for a Hurricane Rana from the top, sending him into the ladder. And that ladder connecting with Jerry Lynn on the top of his head on his way down, sending him into the table. Again, why can't I just Irish whip him into the table and he goes on it? I don't know. Jerry Lynn now being lifted up by Van Dam. Van Dam going to try to get him in position. Once again, we're going to try to go for this one more time. I doubt it'll work, but no, Jerry Lynn fighting back with those elbows to the gut of Van Dam. Now Jerry Lynn with the reversal. Huge elbow to the face. Fighting back and forth between these two. Jerry Lynn now going to look to take Van Dam. That's what I think at this point in the match. Oh my God, he just knocked out the referee. That was brutal. Jerry Lynn now has Van Dam up in the air raid crash, driving him down. Huge air raid crash to Van Dam. Turning Van Dam around. And it is scouted by Rob Van Dam, who was able to reverse it. He looks to go behind for the waistlock advantage, but that is countered by Jerry Lynn as well. Jerry Lynn now sending Van Dam into the buckle. Connected with that shoulder tackle over in the turnbuckle. And Jerry Lynn gonna send him into the buckle once again with a huge suplex. Now looking for the pinfall on Rob Van Dam. And a close 2 count, but Van Dam is able to find a way to get the shoulder up yet again. It's gonna take a huge move to put away Rob Van Dam here in this contest after everything he's gone through. Jerry Lynn potentially looking to do so, but it is scouted by Van Dam. A series of strikes to reverse it. Van Dam now going to bring Jerry Lynn into the turnbuckle. Nope, he gets sent it to the table, because that's exactly what I meant to do that time. Now Rob Van Dam lifting him back up to the top rope. Has Jerry Lynn in position to go through that table, perhaps, but no, Jerry Lynn with the reversal crossbody, folding up the table in the process. And Jerry Lynn now dragging Rob Van Dam over to the ropes. He's got to look to put his feet up on the middle rope, but no, Van Dam having none of it. Looking to get the slide victory. Jerry Lynn was. Underhanded tactics in this contest from Jerry Lynn. As we have seen, he opened up this contest straight out of the gate going after Van Dam. Now rolling out of the way, Van Dam receiving forearm smash from Jerry Lynn. He now lifts him up. It's countered by Rob Van Dam, who kicks out the leg. And now an inverted Rana from Rob Van Dam. Finally turning it on. Finally something that gets me excited. A rewind Rana is always good for the soul. Now Van Dam looking to reintroduce those weapons on the outside. Sending the ladder back to the inside of the ring. And Jerry Lynn now with the reversal jawbreaker. Jerry Lynn gonna look to lift him up. Has him in position. Powerbomb gonna plant him through the table. A huge sit-out powerbomb to Rob Van Dam. Now looking for the pinfall on Rob Van Dam. This might be it. This might be all that it takes to put away Van Dam, but no. Again, Rob Van Dam getting the shoulder up somehow in this matchup, following that seated powerbomb through the table. Jerry Lynn now going to dive off of Brett's rope with a huge diving DDT, but is scouted by Van Dam, who is now going to connect to the Afterglow combo. A series of kicks, and now the roundhouse to the face of Jerry Lynn, putting him down. Van Dam now positioning that ladder over in the corner. Rob Van Dam going to send Jerry Lynn into that ladder once again, utilizing the weapons in this matchup. German suplex, folding up Jerry Lynn and folding up the ladder over in the corner. That ladder disappeared way too quickly. And now Rob Van Dam looking to go from 3/4 across the ring. Is going to look to dive down on Jerry Lynn with a 5-star frog splash here, taunting the crowd beforehand. And he's going to go for a huge 5-star. Why did that not connect? Oh, I'm so done with this game. Rolling Thunder to follow it up. Follow up a maneuver that did not connect. Now Rob Van Dam gonna look to go high risk yet again with a 5-star frog splash from 2 of the turnbuckle pads. We'll just say that the first one connected because why not? Does it matter at this point? Van Dam has done everything that it takes. If he could just pin Jerry Lynn. No, what? He's taunting to the crowd yet again, potentially looking for yet another 5-star frog splash. This time from the other corner, diving in with a 5-star, but no. Jerry Lynn is able to sidestep that. Biting off more than he could chew is Rob Van Dam. And Jerry Lynn now gonna look to get him up for the cradle lift pile driver, planting Rob Van Dam head first on the mat. Rob Van Dam now in position to be put away from Jerry Lynn, but no, he gets the shoulder up again. How many times have we thought that Jerry Lynn has done what it takes to put away Rob Van Dam? Only for Van Dam to counter back, reversing that cutter. And now Van Dam is going to look to lock him in for a huge sit-out Michinoku driver. Rob Van Dam now going high risk yet again. He's going to look to dive down on Jerry Lynn, taunting the crowd yet again. Here goes Van Dam, high risk from the top rope, 5-star frog splash, planting Jerry Lynn with a huge splash from the top rope. Take another look at the 5-star frog splash, done to perfection. Dave Meltzer approved. Now Rob Van Dam lifting him back up. He's going to look to put away Jerry Lynn with this maneuver, the butterfly pile driver, planting Jerry Lynn right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, and 3. Rob Van Dam, after a series of frog splashes and that butterfly pile driver, including the Michinoku driver as well, I should add, finally able to put away his former rival, Jerry Lynn. Of course, the influence that Sabu had on this match, not quite what Rob Van Dam had in mind. In fact, attacking Sabu and sending him to the back. Now Rolling Thunder from Rob Van Dam. You see in the replays, this match so back and forth between these two competitors, spending so much time trying to put someone on top of a table and you can't even dive off a ladder through a table. What kind of sense does that make? Let us have some fun, 2K. Your games are really shitty at this point, and I'm really ready for like a change. Sorry to vent, but Rob Van Dam has picked up a tremendous victory here at Halloween Havoc, and that will conclude part 2 of our pay-per-view event. Join us for part 3, in which we find the Triple Crown champion and the world champion defending their titles.